Welcome to Agents of Nothing, an episode-by-episode recap and analysis from the perspectives of a veteran and a new recruit. And now, a quick word from our sponsors. Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We are your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 5, A Hen in the Wolf House.
Woohoo! So Mariah, how was your week?
That's a good title.
It is, for real.
It was good. I went on a girls' trip this weekend with my mom, just to a little boutique town a couple hours away, and it was nice.
Yeah.
We also went to tour one of the most haunted houses in the U.S., and I think I made a little ghosty friend.
Oh my gosh.
We'll see if she followed me home.
Wait, which one?
It was Kate, the little girl.
Oh, nice.
I say that just because I liked her.
Yeah.
I thought that she seemed sweet. All that she did, supposedly, if you believe in this kind of stuff, the only thing that she did was when I went to take a picture of the painting of her, my camera would not focus.
Wow. She was like, no pictures, please.
Like, I got a few pictures, but they're blurry.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And we recorded our first bonus episode for our paid subscribers while I sat in a closet in our hotel room.
Perfect.
That should be coming out soon. We might even drop the first episode in the main feed just to entice people.
Yeah, maybe so.
But that's
put a little teaser in there
to be seen. We might give a little trailer.
Yeah,
a little trailer. Yeah. All right. So, how was your week, Caroline?
Mine was good. I actually went out with my coworkers for the first time, both at this job and also ever, I think. I don't know that I've ever gone out with coworkers. So, and I led our team to victory at trivia night, so that felt pretty good.
Nice. I love that.
So, let's get into this episode.
Okay, so this episode was written by Brent Fletcher. Wait, hold on. I said Brett, not Brent. So this episode was written by Brent Fletcher and directed by Holly Dale. Ooh. Who do we meet in this episode, Caroline?
So the only new character is Bobby Morse, and here's what I wrote about her. ... dash 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 dash. Figure that out.
Okay, someone who knows Morse code, decipher it and tweet it to us.
I'll send you a piece of candy if you guess it. Okay.
In the mail.
Yeah.
DM us your address. Please don't do that.
Oh my god. Anyway, okay, moving on. So we open on a wedding where the best man is giving a toast to the bride and groom.
The bride has my name.
Yeah. I noticed that. I also noticed
it was spelled differently.
Yeah. But I was going to say in the captions it was spelled with like IYAH or something.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I can only imagine how many more people would mess my name up if it was spelled like that.
Oh my god. Just everywhere you looked.
I already get Maria. I'm sorry I'm already going off on a tangent, but I get Maria so often that the first time I went to my current gynecologist, they called Maria and I went back. And so they're weighing me and everything. And they're like, were you pregnant? And I was like, no, this is my first ever time at a gynecologist. And they were like, you lost a lot of weight. You're Maria? I'm like, oh, it's Mariah. And they're like, what's the last name? It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Oh my god.
I was just like, I assumed that they pronounced my name wrong.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. Was Maria there?
I think so. I don't know. I guess.
No, but that's so funny. Anyway, okay, moving on. So as everyone at the wedding is raising their glasses, and okay, I also wanted to say I've never been to a wedding like this that's like so formal. Yeah. I don't know if it's like Southern thing or Louisiana thing or whatever, but like I've never been to a wedding that formal where everybody actually is like sitting down.
Yeah.
No. Our weddings are full parties the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's there's no assigned seating. No. It's full buffet style. Yeah. Scoop your own gumbo.
Yep.
And get out on the dance floor. Sometimes with the bowl of gumbo in hand.
Yes.
You're eating your gumbo and potato salad and dancing at the same time.
Exactly. Anyway, so everybody's like raising their glasses and they take a sip of their champagne and then they all start like choking and decaying before our eyes, which is awful.
Horrifying.
So the people who did not drink the champagne are freaking out, obviously, and it's like total chaos. So then the wait staff all bails immediately, and they pile into a van to tell British Hydra Guy on a Zoom call how the mission went. So they said that there were 8 dead, some sick, but everyone else was fine. So British Hydra Guy is disappointed in this death toll. He wanted more. And he says that Whitehall is going to view this as yet another failure. Interesting. So at the bunker, Tripp, May, Skye, and Hunter are rushing to Coulson's office to discuss this latest Hydra attack. And is it important that most of these people were in the Navy? Tripp brought it up, so I guess I'll find out soon. But
I think it's supposed to be like, oh, they were all in the Navy. That's a weird coincidence. That probably is not a coincidence.
I guess. I kind of figured that it was like, well, the groom was in the Navy, so clearly most of his friends are going to also be in the Navy. I didn't feel like that was relevant to like why the attack happened, but
yeah, I don't know. It's just like, were those like specific people being targeted and for what reason?
Right.
So, I don't know. So I found this goof that I don't know what almost any of it means, but I picked it out for a very specific reason.
Okay.
So, Navy ensigns, as in the opening scene, could not possibly wear both surface officer and submarine officer warfare devices. It would be possible for an LTJG or higher to do so. Regardless, officers with both are rare, and no submariner would ever wear his dolphins lower than an SWO button.
Okay.
And I only noted that because they said submarine warfare, and my username on most things is submarine warfare, but it does not refer to actual submarine warfare. It refers to a really old unreleased song by my favorite band from my teen years, All Star Weekend, back when they were on MySpace and just called All Star. I liked that band before it was cool. Not that anyone ever really... They weren't super famous. They just had a couple music videos on Disney Channel.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
But I knew them before then, okay?
Before the Not My Birthday music video.
Oh, yeah. The first one, let's see if I can activate some sleeper agents. I wanna be a rock star, a superhero, living the dream, doing the things that I always wanted. Okay, I'm done now.
I love it. Okay. Nobody seems to know why this attack happened, and the Navy is not allowing any outside organizations any intel at all. And Simmons hasn't really been able to gain any info either, but Skye notices that Coulson was carving some obelisk symbols into his desk. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Yikes. It's spreading. He can't hold it back anymore.
So Coulson turns it back around on her, finding out more about the symbols. Sky has tried literally every avenue possible and still hasn't found anyone who knows anything about them. So she turns it back on Coulson, asking where he got all the examples that he's given her that nobody knows that he drew. Coulson just says that that's classified. And then there's a very tense and awkward, like, pushback between Sky and Coulson, very dad and daughter, until Coulson finally pulls the insubordination card, and Sky huffs out of the room, as do Hunter and Tripp.
Coulson and his teenage daughter.
Right, literally.
Dad!
May reminds Coulson that lying to Sky is not a good idea before she also follows them out. And fucking thank you, May. Literally all Sky has ever asked of any of them is not to lie to her. Jesus.
For fucking real. So, the offices of S.H.I.E.L.D. on this episode are the same offices of the SSR, Strategic Scientific Reserve, where the series Agent Carter is set. Ooh. You can also see the SSR coat of arms hanging on the wall.
That's nice.
Yeah. This is my favorite of their headquarters, of their bunkers.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice one. So Sky's dad, I forgot his name, but I'm pretty sure it's Zabo, which is still funny, is performing some kind of surgery in a dark and musty basement. Definitely not a reputable practice. I would not recommend going there.
1 star on Yelp. 1 star on ZocDoc. ZocDoc, please sponsor us.
I actually don't know what that is. If you want to actually give them a shout out, I don't know what that is.
No.
Okay.
Pay us, and then I'll tell you.
ZocDoc, tell me what you are, and then pay us. So Raina barges in unexpectedly, and Zabo is pissed. Raina is terrified, and she begs to get the obelisk back.
This is a side of Raina that we've never seen.
Yeah.
Like, her crying and scared. It was really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like, it felt wrong.
Yeah, it did. Because she's usually so, like, just confident and self-assured. So, while he's, like, terrorizing her, Zabo reveals that he has known Raina for a long time, from the time that she was apparently homeless, until now. Raina says that she needs it because she's been threatened by Dr. Whitehall. Zabo tries to prove that his dick is bigger and scarier than Whitehall's, so he just, like, chokes her against the wall. And he refuses to hand over the obelisk because, for some reason, it's the only thing that will make Sky understand him. Anyway. I don't get that at all. They haven't explained it yet. I hope that they do, because I don't get it. But anyway, so he's leaving Raina to fend for herself against Whitehall. He says, go beg to him. Maybe he's gone soft in his old age. Raina says that she really wanted to bring him Sky, and Zabo says, that's not her name. And I'm finally caught up on the only spoiler I know.
The first mention of Sky having a real name.
Yeah.
We knew that Sky wasn't her real name, but we weren't sure if she even had a real name.
I wonder if her, like, I wonder if Zabo is his first name, or, like, if that's their family name. What if her last name was originally Zabo? Sorry.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
So Zabo goes back to the surgery, and the patient's friend/armed guard says, for God's sake, can you keep it together? And oh shit, that guy is most definitely not going to keep it together ever again. So over at Hydra, Simmons and her boss are working on a new project involving Milk and Bessie.
So there's a brief reference in this one scene at the Hydra lab of a comic book character named Bessie the Hell Cow. So this is one of the more ridiculous Marvel characters, and I fucking love it. I love when they like just lean into the absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
So the backstory for Bessie the Hell Cow is At some point in the 1670s, the vampire known as Dracula found himself starved and flying desperately around the rural farmlands of Switzerland. All of the local homeowners had boarded up their homes for the evening, and the vampire had no means of satisfying his vampiric thirst. He came upon the fields of a farmer named Hans and attacked his prize cow, Bessie. Dracula drank his fill of the animal's blood and left it for dead. The following morning, Hans discovered Bessie's blood-drained corpse and buried the remains. He even fashioned a personalized tombstone marking the spot where Bessie had died. 3 nights later, however, Bessie rose from the earth as one of the undead. She began prowling the countryside, searching for the strange being responsible for her condition, a search that would continue for the next 300 years.
I love that. Wait, I want that comic.
We'll have to hunt it down.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. Oh, fuck.
I want to see Bessie the Hell Cow in a future MCU, property.
Yes, somebody bring Bessie in.
I mean, we've brought in already, we had a Howard the Duck cameo. Come on. Is the Collector still out there? I can't remember if the Collector died, but he should have Bessie the Hell Cow locked up somewhere. I'm just saying.
Anyway, so, like I said, Simmons and her boss are working on this Bessie project when a British Hydra guy summons them both to a conference room where they see that Whitehall is there. Whitehall presents to this group their latest test to replicate the effects of an alien technology.
He says something along the lines of, "It's an understatement to say I've waited my whole life for this." And, can he go 1 minute without alluding to being immortal? We get it. We know. We get it. It's like fucking Hannah Montana, where, all of her first and second albums were just songs about having a double life. It's wow.
Just tattoo it on your forehead. Let's go.
Just tattoo, "I'm really Miley Stewart" on my forehead. I think that was an actual line.
Yes, it was. That's exactly what I was referencing. Thank you.
Well, we both watched too much Hannah Montana as children.
I would say just enough.
I definitely watched too much.
I enjoyed every second of it.
I found my Miley World Platinum member card. It's in my purse.
You keep it with you everywhere you go.
I keep that thing on me just in case I need to prove that I was a Platinum Miley World member. I went to the concert and I won an iCat. I won the Miley World raffle for an iCat.
I don't know what that is.
And do you remember the iDogs where you plug in your iPod and it was a speaker and it would have a light show on its face and it would bob its head to the music? It was like that, but a cat.
But a cat? I didn't know they had cats. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. One day you're gonna meet Miley Cyrus and just whip that thing out. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the Miley World Platinum member card out of one pocket and the iCat out of the other. Yes. Do you still have the iCat?
I think I might, somewhere in Mom's house.
Amazing. I really hope that you do.
It's not operational anymore.
Anyway, okay, so Whitehall calls on Simmons to ask what the current scientists did wrong in this experiment. Simmons is pressured to give advice on the next steps, which require obtaining the obelisk itself. She's also pressured into confirming that the obelisk could be weaponized. The manager is jealous that Whitehall knows Simmons by name, but to be fair, I also don't remember his name, so...
It's Mr. Fish.
Fish?
Turgeon.
Turgeon! Okay, thank you. I was like, I know I made that joke, but I don't remember why. Anyway, so Simmons points out that this weapon could end up killing billions of people, to which the manager says, pretty awesome, right? Bro, what? What?
Yeah. It's really like, I found that, I don't know the right adjective that I want to describe that as, but it's like, he seemed like a pretty, like, cool, normal dude for someone working at Hydra. Like, he was all right. Like, he wasn't awful. But then you hear that comment, and it's like,
damn it.
Did I freeze?
I don't know what happened.
Hello? Oh, God.
There you are. Okay, you're back.
How much did you hear?
I heard he seemed like a pretty...
He seemed like a pretty cool, normal-ish guy for someone who worked at Hydra. But then, like, you hear that comment, and I feel like it was an interesting commentary on, like, you can't really tell just from looking at someone what they stand for or, like, who they are. Like, how evil they may be.
Yeah. And especially because he also, like, he kind of tried to warn Simmons about a few things. To, like, oh, don't get caught with this because it would be really bad if you got in trouble. Because, like, he knows how bad Hydra can be. But as long as that, as long as he's not fearing Hydra, like, hurting him or the people that he knows personally, then it's cool. It's pretty awesome that, like, they're so powerful and scary.
Yeah, and I think that he only warned Simmons about that because he likes Simmons. You know, like, she's nice, and they're on the same side, so, as far as he knows, at least.
Right.
But I also think that comment might have been put in there so that we weren't as horrified when Simmons frames him later.
Yeah, probably so. I think that also maybe gave her the green light to frame it. That it made her feel better about it.
Yeah.
Anyway. So on the plane, Fitz and imaginary Simmons are watching everyone else working and interacting. On the plane, Fitz and the imaginary Simmons are watching everyone else working and interacting. So Sim mentions how hot Mac is. Which is true. And also, does this make Fitz canonically bi, or...
Bisexual Fitz. It's a very common headcanon in the fandom. I'm not sure if this made it canon or not, but yes.
I mean, I feel like his line, I guess I agree with you since you're my subconscious and all. I feel like that kind of confirms it right there.
Maybe. I feel like people, I'm not saying that I'm arguing this, but I feel like people could argue, you can acknowledge as a straight man that another man is attractive.
I guess.
Like, you're not blind.
I guess. I mean, yes, that is true. But also, like, it was... The way that imaginary Simmons brought it up was, first of all, uncalled for. And second of all, she was very much like, he's fucking hot.
Yeah.
And was, like, checking him out. I don't... Acknowledging that someone is attractive is different than being like, damn. Anyway, moving on. But so Sim gets fucking stoked, though, because she says, you just admitted that I'm not real. As if he's ever said that before. But he literally said the words, you are not real, like 3 episodes ago. We had a whole conversation about it. So she says that Fitz doesn't need her anymore now that he has real friends again. And it was such a sweet goodbye, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So Hunter interrupts Skye studying the back of the painting to make a joke about being a fat baby. And I'm wondering if that was supposed to, like, make her find him endearing?
I-
Or what? It was weird. My initial feelings about Hunter are very quickly disintegrating.
Welcome to the dark side.
Sky reminds him that it's a religious painting, and Hunter says, well, I'm pretty sure the alien scribbles voided God's warranty. That was pretty funny, though.
It was. I admit.
Hunter commends Sky for pushing the issue with Coulson earlier, and then he kind of accuses Sky of having some kind of romantic relationship with Coulson. Like, bro, that's her dad. You were funny for a second, then you ruined it immediately after.
But also, like, can Hunter ever shut the fuck up about his ex-wife? Like, why are you talking about her so much?
Truly.
Why are you so obsessed with her? Stop being a little bitch. No one wants to hear about it.
It's, like, constant. And it's always negative. It's literally every conversation he's like, hey, have I ever told you about how much my ex-wife was a bitch and how I hated her?
Yeah. No, I dated a guy like that once where it was the one and only time I've ever dated a guy with a kid, and all he did was talk about how his child's mother was a psycho, and if you ever get a DM from her or like a message on Facebook from her about me, just like know that she's lying about everything. And I was like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
And I broke up with him shortly after.
Right.
I'm like, the fact that you need to clarify that makes it a little fishy.
That sounds like someone trying to cover their own tracks.
Yeah, he did that sort of thing a lot, where I feel like he thought he was being sneaky. Like, he would make comments about, oh, I don't like the car I have because it seems like every guy in this town also has this car. So I feel like you're going to see the car in someone's driveway and think that it's me cheating on you. I'm like, okay. Okay. That's a really weird way of getting around that.
He literally said that?
Oh, he literally said that. His name was Jonathan. He was the worst. We only dated for like
a
month.
God. I hated that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
you never
God.
met him because I was too embarrassed to introduce my friends to any of him. Any of him? Any
Yeah.
of him.
Any of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, literally though, because I don't think I ever even saw a picture of him.
No. Because his selfies were cringy too.
You never introduced me to any of
Yeah. He had this habit. I call it a habit, but it's not a habit. It was a choice. When we would be driving and he would see someone walking along the side of the road, he would honk at them to scare them on purpose.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because he was a dick.
I don't understand.
He was the worst.
Like, why?
He was the worst. And he reminds me a lot of Hunter. So.
Okay. I understand now. I get it. Okay. Speaking of, so Hunter encourages Sky to keep pushing Coulson's boundaries until she finds out what she wants to know, which is just terrible advice, my guy.
Yeah.
And Sky, actually, I didn't write this down, but Sky's like, oh, that explains your divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then Hunter suggests that she starts with Ward, which actually was good advice. So Sky does just that. Ward assumes that she's there for information about her biological father and will not accept any other topics of conversation. So Sky simply asks where he got the information from that he so desperately wants to share with her. Ward says that Raina knows him. Sky scoffs, and when Ward tries to push the issue, Sky says the best line of the whole season so far, which is, "Shut up, Ward!"
I think it's so funny because Ward is telling the truth, but also he has no way of knowing that Raina wasn't lying. And
exactly.
It is objectively hilarious. Like, I love when Skye, like, she doesn't even scoff. She, like, cracks the fuck up. She's like, are you serious? Raina told you? Raina told you. You're really dumb.
So finally, Skye is able to bring the conversation around to the obelisk symbols. Ward says that he's seen it in two places. First, in Belarus with Skye, and then when Garrett would carve it into the glass after the GH injection. Skye is shocked that Garrett was drawing it. Ward asks if Skye has been drawing it, because once Garrett started carving, he couldn't stop, and it took over his entire personality. Ward says that he doesn't think whatever took Garrett's place was ever meant to survive. Skye won't say it, but she is freaking out about Coulson now.
The GH puzzle pieces coming together.
It's all coming together. So Raina shows up at the Hydra HQ, and she spots Simmons rushing out the door. As Raina watches, Simmons sends her latest intelligence on what Hydra is working on, using what looks like a laminated piece of paper, and the voice command to send the message is fish tacos. I love that. Skye goes straight into Coulson's office to confront him. They agree that Skye being the only GH-injected person who's not carving is either a great thing or a very different, very scary thing. Coulson tells her that they have been monitoring her, passively observing her. Skye is reasonably alarmed by this, and Coulson says, I think you're worried about the wrong thing here. I'm pretty sure she can be worried about more than one thing at a time. Anyway, so the thing that they want to focus on is that Garrett and Coulson seem to have both had negative reactions to the alien DNA, but Skye has not, because perhaps Skye is an alien. What?
What a bombshell to drop on someone. Like, if you've been observing her the whole time, you should have been thinking of ways to break this news to her gently. What were you doing for all that time?
just watching her.
At some point, you had to tell her. Like, you had to...
Right.
Like, even if she didn't approach you. Like, you were going to tell her eventually, right? Right?
I mean, you have to. Or she's going to figure it out. Maybe he just figured she would figure it out at some point.
That he should have had a game plan for what would happen when she does.
Right. So Skye is obviously freaking out, and Coulson says, I was just trying not to rattle you, to which Skye says, well, guess what? Epic fail. And do you remember when that was, like, in the cultural vernacular? Epic fail.
Epic fail. Gamer gets totally pwned by another gamer. Epic fail.
By the noob. Anyway. So their conversation is interrupted by an urgent phone call from Raina. So then we come back over to Hydra, and Simmons and her lab mates are all startled by an alarm going off, and British Hydra guy and some other woman come in.
Recurring guest star Adrienne Palicki is introduced in this episode as Bobby Morse, and I want to know who hates Adrienne, who edited this Wikipedia page, because the picture they chose for her is not a good picture of her. And she's a beautiful woman.
Hang on, I want to see it. I know she is.
But it's like on the episodes page.
Oh my god! Okay, wait, just... Jesus Christ. Just the first picture that shows up on her Wikipedia is terrible. Holy shit.
Is it the one? Let me see.
In the, like, sparkly dress.
No, that is the one. Yeah, it's so bad. Like, who hates her?
Jesus.
Like, what is that? Oh, Poor thing. I want to know who has a vendetta against Adrian Palicki.
Literally. I didn't realize until later, but she was in Supernatural. I was trying to figure it out for several scenes. I was like, I know her. Where do I know her from? Of course, it's Supernatural.
I think she was also in Friday Night Lights.
Probably. Anyway, okay. So, British Hydra guy and this woman come in holding Simmons' discarded laminated paper, and they announce that they have a mole, and they're going to find out who it is and make them suffer. Simmons quickly glances at her other laminated pieces of paper in her desk. So the woman goes straight for Simmons and interrogates her about her time in S.H.I.E.L.D. Simmons tries to play it cool, so the guards start searching her and her manager's desks. They find the laminated paper in the manager's drawer. He tries to swear that it wasn't his, but the guards knock him out and carry him away, as Simmons tries not to, throw up or pass out. Oh, God.
Yeah.
So intense. So, the S.H.I.E.L.D. team covertly waits in a restaurant for Raina to arrive. Coulson greets her, and Hunter says over the comms, "This tiny girl in a flower dress is who everyone's making a fuss about. And first of all, don't underestimate small women, Hunter. And second of all, Second of all, I literally do not see a single flower on her dress. I thought Disney Plus was supposed to be the high def option. I feel like I'm just that blind because I literally, he said it, and so I was looking at it this time, and I saw blue silk with black lace accents, and I know that my glasses are 3 years old, but god damn.
It's so funny because I literally made a note that the flowers are much more visible this season.
Really? I can't see them.
Yeah. Baby, I think you need to go to the eye doctor.
I'm so blind.
You need to get some insurance.
Oh my god, okay. Open enrollment is in November. We'll get there eventually. But anyway, so Hunter is surprised by Raina immediately hitting on Coulson. But May and Skye are like, no, this is standard Raina procedure. This is normal. Coulson tries to hurry Raina along into giving him the obelisk. But Raina says, we want the same thing. And Coulson says, unless it's an end to this conversation, I'm pretty sure we don't. Their little zingers at each other are just top-notch.
So good.
So Raina then pulls out her leverage. It's proof of Simmons being the mole at Hydra. Oh, fuck. Speaking of, Simmons has just barely pulled herself together in the bathroom when she finds the scary Hydra woman waiting just outside her stall. She has found out that Simmons and Kenneth, that's his fucking name, were lab partners.
Kenneth Turgeon.
Kenneth Turgeon. What a terrible name.
Poor guy.
And it was at this point in the episode that I realized where I knew her from, and of fucking course it's Supernatural, obviously.
It's whenever I would see gifs of her Supernatural character on Tumblr, I'd be like, oh, hey, it's Bobby! We had the opposite experiences.
Literally. Because from here on out, or not out, but since I didn't know her actual name yet, I was calling her by her Supernatural character name. So, Jess accuses Simmons of either working with Kenneth or planting the flex screen, which is the name of the laminated piece of paper, on Kenneth. Simmons vehemently denies both and swears that if they do go through her hard drive, all they'll find is Hydra files. So Jess reminds her that Hydra is everywhere.
So, speaking about her casting as Bobby Morse, Adrian Palicki said, they approached me and were interested in me for the role. Of course, I'm a huge comic book fan and have been forever. My brother's a comic book writer. Playing an action hero is always exciting, but it was scary because I was like, I will never be able to play another Marvel character if I go forward in this role. Aww. There was a lot of questions and a lot of weighing the options. The showrunners were very convincing, and I'm glad that we all came together and I got to be this character.
Yeah. And hey, it's not impossible. Fucking Chris Evans has been like 3 different characters.
Well, not in the MCU.
Anyway, so Raina sets a timer for an automated email to send this photo of Simmons to everyone in Hydra, unless Coulson agrees to let Raina take Skye to meet her father. May is in the kitchen with Skye, swearing to her that Raina has to be lying and that Coulson has a plan. But Skye is clearly conflicted and can't contain herself. So with 20 seconds left on the timer, Coulson refuses Raina's deal, even though it could mean Simmons' life. And then May has to physically restrain Skye from going out there to save Simmons.
I can't imagine how hard that must be for Skye.
I know.
Like, hearing all of the stuff about her dad, trying to figure out if Raina's telling the truth about knowing him, like, wanting to save her friend, and feeling powerless to do so because the higher-ups won't let her do so.
God. Oh, so Raina begs Coulson to take her deal so that no one gets hurt, but Coulson just calmly waits out the timer. Simmons walks back into the Hydra lab with everyone staring at her. She finally sees a computer screen bearing the photo of her with the flex screen. So then British Hydra guy and several armed guards enter a moment later, and Simmons runs straight into Jess and some more guards. But just as Simmons realizes there's nowhere to go, Jess attacks both of the guards and knocks them out. Simmons speaks everyone's thoughts out loud and goes, "What is happening?" Jess just grabs one of the guns and says, "Don't worry, Coulson has a plan."
In the Marvel Comics storyline, Barbara Bobby Morse is the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent known as Mockingbird.
Ooh. So back at the restaurant, Raina is flabbergasted that Coulson didn't try to save Simmons.
She wasn't counting on that one.
For real. So Hunter joins their table and starts mocking Raina. She reveals that Hydra is making her do this because they want the obelisk, but she doesn't have it, and Skye's father does. She is truly stuck between a rock and a hard place, and she is fucking terrified. She begs for Coulson to take her into S.H.I.E.L.D. custody for her own protection from Whitehall. Coulson refuses, but he might get some use out of her. Hunter shoots a tracker into her leg so that they can use her to get to Whitehall. But they will decide how much to help her based on how helpful she is with information on Skye's father. That was a very difficult scene to watch because it was like, this person is literally begging for her life. It felt like very different from the Coulson that we have known so far to just flat out refuse.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least he does say, like, look, I'll help you a little bit if you help us. But that was difficult.
Yeah. But it's also like, considering what she did to him the last time they saw each other.
Of course. I know. It's hard to not love Raina.
Yeah. I think we're the only ones who feel the way that we do about Raina.
Oh, maybe so.
In the show is very much not. It's very much not the vibe.
Well, because they didn't see her literally getting like roughed up and thrown around by all these other terrifying people.
Yeah. They don't know what we know about Raina, okay? We know her on
they don't
another
know
level.
her how we do.
We know her soul.
Anyway, so Simmons and Jess are sprinting down the hallways of Hydra, and we finally learn that Jess's name is Bobby Morse. So I will call her Bobby from now on. Bobby! And Coulson sent her to infiltrate Hydra to keep an eye on Simmons. They weren't expecting a mass email blowing Simmons' cover, but they already have an extraction team waiting for them on the roof. So Bobby takes out one last guard, and possibly British Hydra guy and his guards, too. They didn't show that, but it seemed like she took them out, too.
Bobby is the fucking best.
Truly. Such a badass. And so then they just run off the edge of the roof and land on a cloaked aircraft.
So the Hydra research base appears to be located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When Gemma Simmons and Bobby Morse jump from the rooftop to land on the Quinjet, the skyline appears behind them. At least 4 buildings in that shot match ones from the Pittsburgh skyline.
Cool. So does this mean that Fitz gets real Simmons back? Simmons is very happy to see her bestie Trip flying the getaway plane, Taylor's version. And Simmons is confused why she was even needed undercover if Bobby was there. Bobby explains that while she was able to gain access to Hydra's security, she wasn't able to get anything on their top projects, which is where Simmons came in. But then Simmons is disappointed because she wasn't able to get any real information to take with her. But Bobby pulls out Simmons' hard drive, which is full of Hydra files. I love these smart, capable women.
Yes!
Imagine how good Iron Man could have been with female characters like these who help each other out.
Really?
So back at the restaurant, Hunter lets Raina out the front door and says, "If you ask me, Coulson let you off easy." And without missing a beat, Raina turns around and goes, "I didn't ask." Fucking... Holy shit, I love her.
It's so good.
Just the most satisfying comeback ever. I didn't ask. So May and Coulson pull out their comms to discuss whether Sky's father could be the threat that Richard Lumley was so afraid of. Coulson sends Hunter to the address that Raina gave them to check what kind of trap they're definitely running into. He starts to give Sky her orders, but Sky's already gone. Of course, Sky headed straight to the address alone. Fucking...
Sky, no! That was my live commentary. I went, Sky, no!
So Sky breaks into the abandoned apartment and finds it empty except for one framed picture on the floor of Zabo holding Sky as a baby. Or, so I think. I can't fucking see that far, apparently.
It was.
I called David into the room and had him sit down and look at the screen, and I'm fucking blind. Subscribe to our Anchor page so that I can afford to go to the eye doctor, please.
Only $2.99 a month, please.
We talk about Iron Man in there.
We'll have it up soon.
Editing Mariah here. We actually have it up now, so if you would like to hear our commentary on Iron Man 1, you can go to anchor.fm/Agents of Nothing and subscribe for only $2.99 a month, or you can just go on Spotify and it'll let you sign up there. Okay, bye.
Anyway, so Coulson finds her, and instead of being mad, he just looks at the photo and says, "So he was here." Sky starts to defend herself, saying that she just wanted to catch a glimpse of him. But Coulson says, "You're having one hell of a day, huh?" And then pulls her in for a hug.
That had me tearing up.
I know, me too. Especially that she was expecting him to, be mad at her and, start reprimanding her. And he just is, just meets her with kindness and understanding. Ugh.
That, she's a person, not just an agent.
Yeah. And the juxtaposition between her scary biological dad and her real father figure here is, too much. I was crying.
Yeah.
But then Zabo was watching them. He has a tiny camera embedded in the clock on the wall, and he is mad in his car outside. So Hunter interrupts their hug, fucking Hunter, to tell them that the place seems clear, but May is checking the back room. Sky accuses Hunter of drinking, which seemed like a weird thing to ask, since, first of all, they all saw him with a drink at the restaurant, and it also seemed like a really weird time to bring that up.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're trying to set something up here. But I honestly can't remember how they follow through, or if they follow through, how it plays out.
Yeah. It just felt very, very clunky. Anyway. So May has found the guys that Zabo was operating on earlier. Clearly, I was right, and he did not, in fact, keep it together.
The worst thing you can say to someone who is worked up is calm down.
Literally. So May says that the men were stabbed to death with a scalpel and pure strength. She tries to be gentle and not directly accuse anyone, but Skye says they all know who did this, and he's a monster. Coulson notices the camera in the corner, and Zabo is freaking out in his car, watching Skye see what he's done and calling him a monster. So he smashes the iPad and drives away.
Not the iPad!
So Trip lands back at S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, and Coulson and May greet them all at the door. Simmons is in love with Bobby, who refuses to be called Agent Morse by her in a way that seemed a little suspicious. As Coulson says that Bobby will be joining the team, Simmons and Fitz lock eyes from the other room.
Fitzsimmons reunion. I'm scared.
I just wanted them to, run and hug each other.
In slow-mo.
Yeah, through a field. So Coulson and May take Bobby and Trip so that Simmons and Fitz can have a moment. Fitz is unsure if she's real, and, understandably. But also, look at her. She looks so goddamn hot. It is unreal. But then that's all we get. That's it.
Yeah.
So Mac greets Bobby with a hug, and they agree to get drinks later. Specifically, a 3-olive martini, hold the olives, which was interesting. And then Hunter walks in, and he is blindsided. Apparently, Bobby is his so-called she-devil ex-wife. She seemed pretty cool to me, and to Simmons, so maybe it's just him.
It's definitely just him.
And she apparently even vouched for Hunter to get this job in the first place. So, I don't know. And his reaction to that was so funny to me. Because he was definitely drunk. Because he was
Why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
God, Hunter is such a little bitch. What is his deal?
I know. Can you calm down for a second? Chill out.
She didn't even say anything. She didn't do anything to be unreasonable. And she comments that he is, already taking a tone with her.
Yeah.
They've literally only been in the same room for 2 seconds. And he's mad at her already.
Not even 2 seconds. Literally, he walked in and was like,
"This is how I always act when I'm dealing with an unreasonable person." And how is she being unreasonable? She's literally just existing. She's existing in the same room as you. And that triggered you for some reason.
You didn't even say hello. God.
I'm sorry, I really just never trust a man when he is that adamant that his ex is evil.
True.
I don't trust it. You're just...
Methinks thou dost protest too much.
You fucked up somehow, and then when she got rightfully angry, you're like, oh my god, she's crazy.
Fucking crazy.
And then you never shut the fuck up about it because she broke up with you.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyway. So Coulson finds Skye in his office. She understands how dangerous her father is, so no matter how much she has always wanted to know him and know what happened, she's willing to do whatever it takes to stop him. However, she lets Coulson know that she cannot handle any more secrets. He needs to tell her everything from now on. So Coulson immediately shows her his latest carving. He explains that he just has this uncontrollable urge to carve, and it just comes out. But he still has no idea what it means. But Skye suddenly has a brain blast. It's a map!
I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map,
I'm the map. So now it's time for the post-content content. Hydra is closing up their lab. British Hydra Guy and Whitehall are discussing this in their office when Zabo walks in from the elevator with a box. Whitehall immediately calls for the guards to remove him, but Zabo just takes them both out with ease, one-handed, mind you, and then apologizes for getting blood on the glass table as though he dropped a pencil or something.
The way he kills those guys, just... I gasped.
Yeah.
I knew what was coming, and I still gasped.
It was so fast.
And just, like, so violent.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway, so Zabo opens the box and shows them the obelisk. He says that in its native language, it's called the Diviner. Zabo offers to not only teach Whitehall how to use it, but how to survive it. For the low, low price of killing Phil Coulson and everyone else.
So originally, the character of Sunil Bakshi, British Hydra Guy, was going to die when Zabo brings the obelisk to Whitehall. But the producers enjoyed Simon Cassianides' performance so much during the table read that they decided to keep him in the series for a while longer.
Why does that say Cal? Is his real name Cal?
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
I like Zabo better. It's okay.
All right, let's get to overall thoughts since I accidentally spoiled something.
Yes. It's okay, I still don't know. I don't know what the fuck that means.
I spoiled his name.
So, I miss having someone to hate, and Hunter is very easy to make fun of, so I've been very much enjoying that this episode. I loved Skye and Coulson's daddy-daughter moments. The, like, dramatic and the sweet ones. And then I feel like, based on this episode alone, I feel like it's canon that Fitz and Simmons are both bi. It just confirmed it for both of them.
So my last little fun fact that didn't really have anywhere to go. Both Adrienne Palicki and Kobe Smulders, who played Maria Hill, have portrayed the DC Comics character Wonder Woman. Adrienne had done so for the aborted live-action Wonder Woman in 2011. That's a really weird way to put it.
That is a really weird way to put it.
I went and got a Wonder Woman abortion. Back in 2011. I didn't want to tell anyone because I was ashamed, but I think it's time for me to speak my truth. But Kobe had voiced her for the Lego Movie in 2014 and had also been attached to a proposed live-action film written by Joss Whedon.
Aw, that would have been cool. Or not?
Yeah, I think I've heard about and this could have been a rumor, but I heard about the Wonder Woman script that was written by Joss Whedon, and it was not good.
I meant that Kobe Smulders could have been Wonder Woman, not anything.
Yeah, Kobe as Wonder Woman would have been awesome.
Yeah. If it ever sounds like I'm complimenting Joss Whedon, just know that I'm not. Ever.
I think he's good at world building, but his character work leaves much to be desired.
Gotcha.
And he can't help but self-insert at least one character into all of his scripts.
Ugh.
And it's usually the least likable character. So if that tells you something.
It does.
All right, well, that concludes our episode on Season 2, Episode 5, A Hen in the Wolf House.
Woohoo!
Next week, we will be covering Season 2, Episode 6, Gordon's School for Gifted Inhumans. So stay tuned for that. Wow.
Okay, bye.
That's already...
Oh, is it?
Bye.
Bye.
Love you. JK, you guys, the Season 2, Episode 6 is A Fractured House. So we'll see you then. Goodbye.